welcome back. So today's a different video. Today is our What I Read in May video. Yeah, so something different. I thought I would give a bit of a review on what I've read. Like I said in my channel, it's going to be between games and books. So in that case, we are going to go through the books that I read and let's give some reviews. I didn't really have any books that I didn't enjoy. There was one that kind of deflated me at the end of the month, which I will explain at the end. But other than that, generally 4 out of the 5 books were really good, which is good. Sometimes you don't get that. So anyway, so here we go. So book 1 is The Other People by C.J. Tudor, I want to say. So I'll give you a wee overview of the book. So obviously I've given this book a 4 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I found that it was really enjoyable to read. The characters were really likeable. They were relatable as well. And I'm not really when you can connect with a character, it's really quite good. So yeah, I really enjoyed the storyline. The storyline starts off where you're following a father called Gabe who is driving home from work, who is absolutely notorious for not arriving on time, and his wife Jenny is getting to the point where she's getting sick of it. She just wants him to be home on time, but he never is. He always stays back late. There is reasons why he stays, he's not there, but that comes in later on in this story. So basically you follow him, he's driving home and he sees a car in front of him that has a really random sticker and then a child that looks very similar to his daughter Izzy in the car. And he thinks, no, my daughter is at home with Jenny, there's no chance in hell that's my daughter. Anyway, he gets a phone call, gets told that there's been a homicide at his address and his daughter and his wife are actually not alive, they're dead. Anyway, we fast forward 3 years and we see that poor Gabe has basically fallen apart. He has basically put his entire world onto finding his daughter because he is adamant that his daughter is actually alive. So yeah. In addition to Gabe, you also follow Alice and Fran, who are a mother and daughter, who again are running from unknown. They're running from somebody or someone, and it doesn't become clear to begin with who they're running from or why they're running from these people, and you're basically find out a lot of story around about who Alice is. So Alice is the younger daughter, and then Fran is the mum. Fran will do anything in order to protect her daughter, and that really does kind of shine through in the story. Now there is a big twist to the story, and it kind of does draw in all the characters. So you've got Gabe, you've got Fran, you've got Alice, you've got other characters that do come in as well and play big parts as well. And eventually then you find out who the other people are and what their involvement is in the story. I really enjoyed the book because there was so many twists, and it was you really could see where the author was going with the story. Now, just to put it out there, I read one of the author's books prior to this called The Chalk Man, and I didn't like The Chalk Man. I really struggled with that book. I gave it quite not a great review. So I thought I would give this one a go to see what this was like. I really did enjoy this, so it's really a good thing to say that don't just judge an author by one book, because this book turned out to be really good. So would I recommend this book? Yes, I would. I think it's a book that you could easily read. It's really enjoyable and it's relatable. So that is the first book that I've read this month. Book number 2 is The Couple Next Door by Shari, Lapena, I want to say. Get in the camera, Donna. Oops. So there we go. I gave this one a 4 star as well. Did enjoy it. I did enjoy the book. The front cover really did kind of confuse me, because I don't really think the front cover, like the name of the book, actually goes in line with the story, but that's just my opinion. So you follow the story of Anne and Marco, who have been let down by their babysitter, and they were meant to be going to their couple next door's or their neighbour's dinner party. Now, what happened was, basically they thought, do you know what, the babysitter's let us down, we're only going through the wall, we've got the baby monitor, let's just go to the party and then come and check on the baby every half an hour, on the hour and every half hour, and we'll do that repeatedly through the night until we come home. And it sounds like, yeah, why not? What's the worst that can happen? Now, in this case, the baby gets kidnapped. Now, the story really does follow along the lines of, obviously, Marco and Anne. You've got Anne, who is portrayed as a very attached mum to her baby. She's a new mum. She's missing being able to be social and basically being just her, really, just Anne, rather than being mum. And she just feels very disconnected from the world, and she's developed postnatal depression, and she sees a therapist, and that really does kind of come through in the fact that her mental health comes through in the story. So a key factor to the story is that Anne actually comes from a very wealthy family. So realistically, she has always had what she's wanted. She's the only child, and she's never wanted for anything. And you've got Marco, who basically has had to kind of work hard for things in his life. Marco doesn't really feel like he fits in. He's always tried to please his in-laws, but he doesn't feel like he can do... he just doesn't feel like he can ever be good enough for them. I think the story really kind of portrays the fact that Anne's parents wanted her to marry into wealth as well, and that they weren't really impressed when she actually did kind of develop a relationship with Marco, and that's really kind of adamant in the story. Now, back to the point of the fact that the front cover. So to me, the front cover kind of gave me the insight that there was going to be more about this kind of perception of the couple next door. Now, for me, that really didn't come across. The whole title, unless the author kind of maybe thought that you'd ever know what the couple next door are like, you don't really hear very much about the fact, like the two people that Anne and Marco basically have a dinner party with. You do get a bit of a rundown of the fact that Anne is very paranoid, and she feels that the neighbour is wanting to have an affair with her husband, and you can really see that Anne is really kind of paranoid. She's feeling really insecure, and that kind of does kind of go through the story, and there is kind of things that come up and you kind of go, oh yeah, that kind of didn't help that suspicion and stuff. So it is a really, really good story. Now, the ending of the book and things is really kind of not what I expected. Now, the last paragraph of the book was like, oh my god, what just happened there? It kind of like, this last part of this book on what happened is like, I can't believe that happened. But it really does kind of tell you to expect the unexpected. And when you think actually you kind of predict it, I got to the point where I started thinking, am I going to predict this ending? Do I know what's coming? Can I predict this? Is this X, Y, and Z that's done this? And I found out, actually, no, it's not. And yeah, so it's definitely a book that I would recommend. I would definitely say to give it a chance, to give it a read. And yeah, there you go. That's my view. So the next book is 50/50 by Steve Cavanaugh. I gave this book a 5-star rating on Goodreads. It is the classic Who Did It. Basically, you are got two sisters, Alexandra and Sophia, or Alexandria. Is it Alexandra? Alexandra and Sophia. And basically, they both accuse each other of committing a murder, or the murder of their father. And it's a case of who did it. Now the prosecution, they're quite happy. They've got two sisters. They have enough evidence to convict them. It's a win-win situation for prosecution. But Eddie Flynn and Kate, who is the other defence attorney, they don't want them both going down. So it's a case of who did it. And you basically follow that story. Now the book is so well written. You've got Kate's parts, you've got Eddie's parts, and then you've got she. And she is both Alexandra and Sophia. You just don't know which one is which. And you're basically hearing what they're thinking and what they've done. And you're constantly thinking, is that Sophia? Is that Alexandra? And then when you're going through it, you're like, oh, it could be Sophia. Oh, that could be Alexandra. But you just generally don't know until the end. And then at the end, it's like, oh, didn't see that coming. It is a really, really well written book. I couldn't put it down. I really, really enjoyed it. Even right up until the end, I was flicking, going. I think it's one of the quickest books I've read in a very long time. So definitely a 5-star rating for me. Would definitely recommend it. It's the 5th book in the Eddie Flynn series. So if you like some of the other books that Steve's written, you will like this one. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Steve, so yeah, I really enjoyed these books. So yeah. So following on the flow, the next one is another Steve Cavanaugh book, which is The Devil's Advocate. This book will have you going through so many emotions. It is basically corruption, it is grief, it is sadness, it is so many emotions in one book. It will make you angry. Some people don't like that. I think it is a really true kind of book, and I think how Steve has written the book has been really insightful. Basically, you're following a district attorney who is out to get the death penalty. He wants the death penalty. He'll do anything in his power to get the death penalty, whether that person is innocent or not. So you're following poor Andy, who has been accused of committing a crime. He's been accused of murder, and he hasn't done the murder. There's not enough evidence to support that he's the one who has committed the murder. The evidence that they have got could evidently be evidence is fabricated. And this is what they're trying to get information on. Eddie is called upon to go out of New York to go to this to go and help this poor guy to kind of save him. Now, the district attorney, who is Corn, will do anything. He puts things in ways. He has Eddie arrested. He has he bribes people. He has corruption in the police. He has everybody that he wants. He's threatened, and he's got enough on them to get what he wants. And it's a really, really kind of twisty story, and you really generally do feel for the characters that are in it, and you kind of just want someone to take stance and kind of go, no, this is not right, and you can feel yourself getting really quite cross in the book. The ending, I think, is a really good ending, and probably not one that I expected, but it is really an emotional one. I read it quite quickly as well. And I really enjoyed this one, so I did give this one a 5-star on Goodreads as well. Like I said, with 50/50, I'm a very big fan of Steve Cavanaugh. So I've liked the majority of all the books that he's written so far, and I'm looking forward to his next one, which I think is The Accomplice, which comes out in July, which I've got on pre-order. So yeah, definitely another one that's worth a check out if you're interested in that. Remember at the start I said that there was a book that kind of let me down? It was this one. And I was really sad because I really, really wanted to like it. I gave this one a 2 stars, and it was one of those ones where I was recommended it by a friend, and I really wanted to like it, and I even got tweeted by the author himself, but I just didn't grasp with it. I just didn't connect with it. The first part of the book is really quite slow, and then the last part as well, I generally thought the story could have actually finished about 50 pages before. You're following Colton Shaw, who is he's like a reward seeker. He meets, or he gets told about a bounty for 2 boys, and he just goes and kind of, they're fugitives, and he goes to try and hunt them down to bring them in. He speaks to family, and he wants to know a bit more about what's going on. Anyway, he finds the boys, and one of them ends up committing suicide, and Colton wants to know why that happened. Why has this poor boy killed himself? Anyway, that kind of goes on to the fact that it leads you to the foundation. And that's where the chunk of the book starts. The book really kind of gets into the meaty part of it when like Colton goes to the foundation, and kind of goes undercover. And that's really good, because at that point I really felt like I connected with the character and I was really enjoying it. And then you kind of finish that area, and then we kind of fast forward, and then I lost it. I was like, why are we now at his mum's? And then there was like more than one storyline going through it. You've got the foundation storyline, and then you've got a storyline about his father. And it kind of gets a little bit confused at the end, and I didn't really know what I was following. And that's when it kind of lost me. I don't think it helped the fact I wasn't feeling 100%. I've not been very well over the last few days. It was the last book. I was really struggling with it. I felt like I was probably more grazing the story. And yeah, it was a real shame, because I really wanted to like it, because I've been told he's a really good author. I've also been told that his other series, I think it's the Lincoln Rhyme series, is really good. Now, I would say for my recommendation is, if you're new to Jeffery Deaver, I would probably go to the Lincoln Rhyme series first. I'm going to go and have a look at that one and see if I like those books, because apparently they're meant to be better. So I'm going to try them. So this book, if you're a die-hard fan of the author, definitely go and read it. But for me, it wasn't. It wasn't for me, which is a real shame. Especially when the guy tweeted me, and I was really kind of like, yay, I got a tweet. It was nice. But anyway, so they're my books for the month. I really enjoyed these books. I have a couple more books to go obviously now for the month of June. I'm doing a challenge with a couple of friends. We're reading the 10 Doors of January, which again is a completely different book for me. So we're starting that. I start that today, because as of today it's the 1st of June. So we are starting that. So I'll be interested to see what that book's about. And I've got a couple of them to be read pile. So it'd be interesting to see what my next month of books will be. So anyway, guys, obviously this is a bit of a new bit of content for me. I have done a couple of videos on games. I'm really kind of getting into the flow of books and reading. Do want to kind of do a few challenges, and kind of do something a little bit different. And yeah, and just kind of see what people are liking. Now, if you have got to the end of this video, I'm very grateful to you. Please let me know what you thought of the video. This is my first review video, so it is going to be trial and error, and I will get better as I do more. But if you really enjoyed this, then please let me know. If you've got any book recommendations, again, let me know, because I'm keen to try new books and try new things. If I've given reviews and you don't agree, let me know why. I want to know what your thoughts on the books were. Did you have the same views? Did you Did you come to the same conclusion? You could be completely different. You could like something completely different to me. So I want to know. I'm all ears. I do want to know. So anyway, thank you for watching. And if you have liked this, please subscribe to my channel. And I will be back in touch very shortly with a new video. Okay,